couple of more days to go before this month is over, but already it's been jam-packed with a whole lot of drama.
So much drama. So much drama, especially because we are getting into a political period. So if you are someone who has your voter's card ready, then you know that there's a lot you need to keep up with. For some reason, this year we're having a lot more commotion.
Exactly.
In the ranks.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's because, from last year to the beginning of this year, we've been complaining, saying, it's almost election time. We're not seeing anything happening on the ground, this and that. But as soon as they just announced that, boom, we have closed shop.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody let the dogs out. And it's just been crazy. Crazy day after another. All right. So coming up on the show today, we are going to try to update you with what's happening in the country at the moment. I don't know if you saw what happened to Mr. Gary Nkombo.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Gary Nkombo coming through with some emotional statements with regards to how he feels he's been abandoned, politically abandoned.
But was that necessary? That whole tussle and hustle, pulling him and blocking him. He's trying to jump over the door, trying to beef. It became MMA.
I don't know what happens in this country when you... I don't even know how to categorize it, because this is somebody that we knew was well respected.
I know,
and then
right?
all of a sudden, he goes out of the limelight, and then we start seeing all of these images and videos that are popping up, and it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic.
It's chaotic.
Something that can cause somebody to have a full-blown depression.
All right, so there's that happening, and then also ECZ has finally cleared Brian Mundubile for August 13th presidential election, and we saw a lot of
Did you see who his running mate is?
Yes. We saw that. So we're going to be letting you in on that, giving you the details as well, right? And then also ECZ has decided to extend the nomination period for National Assembly mayoral races.
So
that's
going to be an interesting one. Who are you thinking for Lusaka?
Mayor.
Yeah?
There's this guy called, there are two Simons who are fighting for that. One of them, I'll just say one of them. So it's up to you to decide which one. Yes, but one of them.
Which one do you fall on? Which line?
Yeah. I cannot say right now because they'll say, no, they have bought this man.
Okay.
I am not taking any talk time fees. I am not taking any talk time tokens. No. I've got enough talk time here.
Tokens of appreciation.
Tokens of appreciation. No, we're not doing that. All right. Yeah. But anyways, also around the world, we are going to be checking out what's happening when it comes to our Use It or Lose It. There's some interesting talks
remember
going on.
We were talking about this other pivotal meeting that's going to be happening between two major world powers. So Putin is currently in Beijing at the moment. He's having some meetings with Xi Jinping. So we're going to get into those in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about what exactly they've been discussing, how the discussions have been going on so far. Now, in light of the recent visit that happened by Donald Trump as well to China, we're hoping that he has nothing to say but great things for the welcoming, as well as the talks that are ongoing.
Exactly. And then elsewhere in Kenya striking right now, due to fuel prices.
I don't know why we don't strike when we have high fuel prices, but I think there's a standard across the African continent when there's high cost of living and high fuel prices.
Things. Yeah, no, we are a humble people. We are a Christian nation. We are a very peaceful nation. One Zambia,
no.
One
we
nation.
create the memes.
Yeah,
we create memes.
No. We're only loud on social media. On social media.
Memes,
oh my goodness, will lead you to your early retirement. From life. But then that and a whole lot more is coming up on the show. In sports, of course, this is not a story that's new to everybody. This is something that everybody has been talking about. Arsenal finally have taken a cup. Okay, so they can enjoy that water.
After 22 years.
But if it was the other team... At least it's even come down a little bit. It was only there last night, this morning, and then, it's quiet down. But if it was that other team,
the one
I think today
died.
would have been a public holiday. today would have been a public holiday. Yeah, so we're going to be updating you on that one as well with Arsenal. And then, yeah, besides that, we are still feeling generous. We are generous as usual every other day. We're going to be getting out some money today, of course, in the Sky Cash drop. So what you need to do is dial star 770 star 2.
Around the world following this one, Xi Jinping and Putin wrap up talks in Beijing with no final details on the gas pipeline. But apparently what's supposed to happen is a gas pipeline that's going to be built and it's going to be streaming between these two countries, right? So Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping will shortly conclude their talks, or have really wrapped up their talks. But their meeting ends without details on a natural gas pipeline between Russia and China. Now, the previously agreed deal has been stalled for years, but the two countries have said that they've reached a general understanding about the pipeline. An aide to Putin tells reporters that the agreement comes as the two leaders met in Beijing and signed more than 20 agreements on trade and tech, as well as a declaration on a multipolar world order. Now, a lengthy joint statement mentions Russian gas supplies, but otherwise does not indicate the leaders reached any major breakthroughs in Moscow and Beijing's relationship. Now, without Chinese money and tech, the very survival of Putin's regime would be in actual question. So it is very interesting to see that at least they're open to be able to have some sort of conversation. I don't think Putin is the type of person who would have any room for negotiation, but I guess it's you know how you court a young lady tapping. You go the first time.
Exactly.
If it doesn't work, you come another time.
You try again.
Yeah.
You try again.
So maybe this is just the beginning of better things for the world order, because it seems like there's a lot of these major world players that are finally being able to get a seat at the table and have some cordial communication.
Exactly. Elsewhere, a Kenyan transport strike triggered by a rise in fuel prices from the Middle East war was posed on Tuesday after causing 4 deaths and major economic disruption, raising concerns about potential wider unrest across Africa. One of many African countries dependent on fuel imports from the Gulf is Kenya, which has hiked petrol prices by 20% and diesel by almost 40% since Iran choked off traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's oil normally passes. Now, the transport sector, especially operators of the matatu buses that provide most public transport in Kenya, called the strike on Monday after another steep price rise last week. Albert Karakacha, the president of Matatu Owners Association, confirmed the suspension, although other representatives warned that they would protest again if the negotiations were not serious. Earlier in the day, while the strikes were still on, Cornelius Chipsoi, chairman of the Rig Owners Association, told the AFP that they would not be satisfied by a political move lowering the prices of diesel by a very, very tiny margin. Now, analysts have warned that soaring oil prices could be a sign of more protests across the continent. Last week, rising prices sparked protest in Comoros, paralyzing the Indian Ocean nation, if you remember that, where one person was also confirmed dead. In Nairobi, nearly empty Central Business District, Faith Ness, who declined to give her surname, said she spent 24 hours at Poplar Hospital as she was unable to get home. Schools and embassies in the capital of Nairobi were also closed.
Absolutely. So that's some interesting news that is happening in our News It or Lose It segment for today. Just giving you some updates on what exactly is happening around the world.
Exactly. With that said, keep it locked right here on Sky FM, the People's Radio. Remember,